VMware Explorer. I'm here with Dean Lewis from VMware, but he is also fellow VM Vanguard. So, Dean, can you tell us more about VMware Aria?
Hi there. So thank you first for coming down to video me. Yeah, so with the Aria that we've announced, so we first announced that at the VMware US a couple of weeks ago, a month ago or so. And essentially it's our next iteration from a cloud management point of view going forward. So, of course, we've had the vRealize suite for many years, and it's a really great suite, and it actually expands out into the public cloud already today. So from a costing perspective, an operation and monitoring perspective, a automation perspective, like self-service. But there is something that goes on to like what's next, especially when you've got your applications and your virtual machines distributed out across the cloud. How do you actually handle that as well? And our answer to that is actually the Aria platform itself. So with the Aria suite, we've introduced two new capabilities. So that's Aria Hub and Aria Graph. So Aria Hub essentially is a unifying front end or UI platform that brings together an understanding of all of your applications and your platforms that you've got deployed, your overall alerting, costing status, performance information, and then backed under that is something called the Graph, or Aria Graph as we call it, which is actually based on GraphQL as well. And essentially that gives you a single entity data source across all of the products as well. So when you look at a single virtual machine, you can call that API and get metrics data from from Aria operations. You can get details from Aria operations for apps, which was previously timed observability if you're doing app level monitoring. You can get cost data from Aria Cost, which used to be Cloud Health. So we've obviously changed some of the names there as well as part of that platform. But essentially it's a single place to get hold of all of that data as well. So should we have a look at what that looks like on the whiteboard?
Yeah. Sure. I think our readers, they will be also interested in how they can monitor the cost across their clouds. I mean, they can monitor it before they deploy or after, or how is it working?
So originally, we'd have these separate kind of products which will look after things like cost and automation and operations from a monitoring perspective. And these would be able to link together between them, so you could go to the automation and you could get a cost here, roughly of what it's going to cost to actually deploy your virtual machines or applications through self-service, which is fantastic. And it might come from the costing products or the operations product, but essentially again that kind of unification isn't fantastic. And essentially now what we've then done is we bring this together with the hub, which then starts to unify all of that from a centralized experience to bring everything together. So you've got one port of call to go to understand what your application environment starts to look like. So you can say, hey, well I need to look at my application. So actually, my app might be, 2 VMs, some Kubernetes, and maybe an RDS service in AWS. And that's my app. But now we need all of this data for my application. And that's where we go to for the hub, for that type of information. With the other piece that I mentioned, the fact that it's backed by Aria Graph, is how do we actually query all of that information as well? So previously, if we wanted to query information for VMs, we'd have to query an API for the cost, for automation, and for operations. And now, you no longer need to do that because we have that backed as an API here. And I apologise for my terrible writing, but we layer on top the GraphQL for that. So actually, if we just span over to Vincent in the background there, essentially we've got the what is their current clients. This is kind of beta at the moment. You'll start to see some changes to that going forward. But essentially, we can tell you how to document that and how to actually query the service. And essentially then you're just writing your code of what it is that you want to bring from your entities as well. And that will call off to the other products for that data as well, to make it nice and simple for you. So I think what we'll end with today is at VMworld Europe, we announced our freemium edition. So if you go to the VMware Cloud Management blog, we've just released 2 blogs about that today. It tells you how to get signed up. There's obviously the announcement blog, and there's a technical deep dive blog as well around that. So that's going to be available at the end of November. And you'll start to be able to use the hub environment and Graph, and you'll be able to monitor your 2 public cloud accounts for free. So either Azure or AWS. And then Later on, we're going to obviously release our premium, our paid-for edition. That'll make up the rest of the Aria suite and customers can take advantage of with the additional capabilities that we talked about as well.
That's excellent news. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Vladin.